Hi friends! Today we are working on the partial products algorithm for multiplication. Let's go ahead and write that at the top of your notebook page. Okay, so with partial products we've got the word part here. Just like partial sums, we are going to do small parts and then add them all up. Okay? So also, just like partial sums, we want to do an estimation first to determine whether our answer is reasonable. So go ahead and write this down in your notebook. We're going to do 54 times 3. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw just a really small magnitude estimate bar so I can note place value in my estimations. So I've got tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000. So go ahead and do that same thing. And underneath here, I'm going to write an expression that I'll use to estimate. Okay, so I'm rounding 54 to the nearest 10. I take a look at the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No thumb, so it will stay the same. I'm going to round 54 to 50. And then, since I can do 3 times 5 in my head, the purpose of rounding is closer but easier. But if it's already easy, I can just leave it alone. So 50 times 3, I can use my basic fact of 5 times 3 is 15, times 10, 150. So as I take a look at my magnitude estimate bar, I know my answer is going to be in the hundreds column. Okay, so now I'm ready to find my exact answer. So I'm going to write my problem vertically. I need you to go ahead and write this in your notebook as well. First thing I think about when I think partial products is I break my numbers into teams, just like multiplication wrestling. Okay, so 54, breaking it into tens and ones, I have 50 plus 4. And then just wrestling against one lone team member here, one opponent of 3. So just like partial sums, I'm going to start with my biggest number first. So I'm going to go ahead and wrestle 3 times 50, 3 times 50 first. So I can use my basic fact of 3 times 5 is 15, times 10 is 150. Okay, so I've wrestled the 5. I have to now wrestle the other part of that team. 3 times 4, 3 times 4 is 12. Making sure that I'm lining up my place value for easy adding. So now I have these two partial sums, or partial products, that I can add up to get my total product of 54 times 3. So 0 plus 2 is 2, 5 plus 1 is 6, and then bring my 1 down the hundreds column. So my product of 54 times 3 is 162. Is that reasonable based off of my estimate here? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase here. You make sure that you've got that jotted down. We're going to do one more together, and then I'll have you do one on your own. Okay, so if you just want to erase where your mark was on here, you don't have to draw that whole bar again. If you want to draw it again, you're welcome to. Okay, so this next one, I want to find the product of 6 times 83. So the first thing I'll do again is I will round to get a ballpark estimate to determine whether my answer is reasonable. I'm going to leave my 6 alone, because it was already easy, just a single digit. 83, I'll look at the 3, 1, 2, 3, no thumb, so I'll just round it to 80. Now I know 6 times 8 is 48, and then times 10, 480. So I'm going to go ahead and put my marker, I would circle this if it was on paper, and I'm looking at the hundreds column. So I'm always going to, when I'm writing my numbers vertically, even though this says 6 times 83, I'm going to do 83 times 6 to keep myself a little bit more organized. So it's the same thing, just a turnaround fact. I'm going to get my teams ready. We got 80 plus 3 versus just the 6 here. Okay, so the first thing I'll do my larger number. 6 times 80 goes first. 6 times 80, the value of that 8. So using my basic math facts, 6 times 8 is 48. And then times 10, 480. 6 times 80, 480. So I have wrestled this opponent. Now I've got one more left. So 6 times 3, they're both in the ones column. So 6 times 3 is 18. So I have these two partial products, but I will go ahead and add it for my total. 498. Is that reasonable based off of my estimate? Yes. Yes. Okay, so make sure that you've got that jotted down. I'm going to go ahead and erase here, and I want you to try the next one on your own. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 7 times 62. Okay, so make sure that you do your ballpark estimate first. Mark where it would be on your magnitude bar, and then go ahead and try that partial product algorithm on your own. About 30 more seconds. All right, let's go ahead and check for understanding here. So I had 7, and it's already easy on that, so I'll leave that alone. And I ran 62 to 60, so my ballpark, 7 times 6 is 42, times 10, 420. So when I get my exact answer here, I'm going to break it up into teams of 60 plus 2 versus 7. So first thing I'll do is 7 times 60. 7 times 6 is 42, times 10, 420. Wrestled the 6. Now I need to wrestle the 2. 7 times 2 is 14, making sure I'm lining up my place value. So I can add up my partial products here. 434. I go ahead and raise the roof if you got that. All right, friends, we'll continue to practice in class, but you may go ahead and say goodbye.
Bye.